Hello, everyone, and welcome back to your boy, the SeanDavieWay Show. Please hit that like and subscribe on the way in and tap that bell if you would like to be notified of all of our future content. Today, I bring you another surviving TikTok on Allie Carter. As of recently, Allie and her mother, Shelly Carter, have been being called out by Allie Carter's biological family that knows her as Tori Outlaw. And they are not going to sit back and let these allegations that has been placed on Allie and Shelly just sit idly by. They came forward and they are announcing the truth and telling the story from the side that they feel that it needs to be told from. The issue is no one still believes them. I am not here to choose sides because I don't feel that there is a side to choose. I also won't be playing anything that Allie's biological mother has said because one, I don't know her, and two, I don't have permission, and three, I am still Team Allie. And what I mean by I'm still Team Allie is the verdict is still out. I do not know Allie, and Allie is no enemy of mine. So I don't feel a need to contact her family members and things in that nature because it's none of my business. I'm here to follow the content, follow Allie's story as it unfolds, and give commentary on set content, not to dig inside of her life and try to expose her and her family and her adopted mother, Shelly. I just don't know these women to want to attack them. And I think it's disgusting of the people that have been going around attacking them because these are perfect strangers. If you don't believe someone's story, that is okay. If you feel that there is information that needs to be put on the forefront in a more unbiased type of way, then I'm okay with that too. What I'm not okay with is because you don't believe someone, attack them and get people to hate them and not support them, etc. Find that because you have a lot of people that think they're smart and they're really not. Case in point, Jaguar and myself have a past. We've dealt with each other. We've had a situation and or relationship. So anything that I did to her after we had a falling out was because we had a falling out. I did not attack the hag just because she was going around telling stories and I did not believe them. I never did that. I would just mind my business, or I would just state that there's no proof or receipts backing that story, so you would have to talk to her. But I never attacked her or would call family members and people like that to try to see if she was telling the truth or not, or get in contact with celebrities to see if she was telling the truth. No, I did those things because we had something personal. We had a personal issue with each other. I do not know Allie. I've never had an issue with her. We have never had a relationship, none of those things. So if I didn't believe her story, I don't think it would be cool for me, in my opinion, to try to attack her or reach out to biological family and stuff like that. I just feel like that's really personal for someone that you don't know, to try to destroy them and get people not to follow them. Even if a person's not telling the truth, their audience gets to follow. I don't think it's okay either to try to discourage an audience to do something that they already feel. If they feel that they believe Allie, allow them to. If you want them to get a different perspective, then that's when you just put commentary together and make sure it's unbiased so that the people can actually hear you. If you attack someone, that is bias. It makes the people that support them want to protect them, not walk away. Still, I digress. Let's jump into Surviving Allie on this TikTok edition. One of the things that has been exposed about Allie Carter, Miss Outlaw, if you will, is the CPS timeline. It doesn't necessarily make sense hearing the biological mother come forward and state that she had her daughter up until she was a teenager, until she was around 13, 14 years old. She had Allie in her custody. But Allie remembers this story differently. Allie remembers that she was being SA'd from a very young age. She also states that CPS has a record of it starting from her being 3 months old. And then Allie specifically remembered a time when she was 4 years old to the SA happening to her as well. So let's get into Allie's beginning of her timeline with Child Protective Services.
Say that it began when I was 3 months old. But I remember very clearly at 4 years old, it's the first time that somebody hurt me and I didn't have drugs. It was the first time I was awake and I knew what was going on. I was at my babysitter's, and out of all the kids, she kept bringing her boyfriend around me. She kept telling me to come sit in the room on his lap, talk to him. And one day I got really irritated that he kept trying to touch me, so I started fighting him, and she beat me. She beat me, and she told me that he was going to do whatever he wanted to do anyway, so she locked me in the room. And when he stopped, she took my stuff, and she threw me outside in the driveway in Ritchie Canyon until my two biological sisters got off the school bus and they found me. I was in shock. I just sat.
Side note, Allie tells this story, a vivid story, about when she was 4 years old, being at a babysitter's house, and the babysitter putting her hands on her, the babysitter forcing her to sit on her boyfriend's lap and saying that the boyfriend's going to do whatever he wants, yada yada, and that she ended up reuniting with her sisters, her biological sisters, right after and going home. I, unfortunately, being unbiased, I'm going to have to call BS. I do not believe Allie's story. Again, trauma can be very vivid. It can make you go right back to the place. Even if you don't remember that whole day or what transpired after, you're definitely going to remember what happened at that point in time. But being 4 years old, I highly doubt that this situation happened because the memory's not going to be that vivid if you haven't been interviewed or had to testify, things in that nature. Then I would get it because that's something that you would truly never forget. And having to recollect or having other family members discuss it, that will make it really vivid to where you could tell the story like it happened yesterday. But her sister's memories do not detail that memory. Her sisters have spoken out, and one of her sisters hates the biological mother. So what other reason would she have to lie? They both have the same energy towards the biological mom, Rhonda. So why would she basically try and protect someone that she loathes? You would think that if this situation truly happened, that the sister, the one that doesn't like the biological mother, Rhonda, would be all over and be like, yep, that did happen. She didn't do anything, blah, blah, blah. But no one has any recollection of this memory besides Allie. So I'm going to have to call BS. I do not believe Allie when she's stating this. I feel that Allie's a lot like Jaguar, right? I think that the both of them are obsessed with trauma. I think that they like the thought of trauma. I think that they like how it makes people feel about them once they hear certain things about them. So a person going through SA instantly is going to get usually sympathy, empathy. A person's going to hear them out. All of those things that a person wouldn't necessarily gain naturally, but since something happened to you, saying like, oh, your parent passed away or something like that, you instantly have a person's attention. So where they want to know more and they're willing to offer you condolences and give you complete attention. And I think that Allie likes that. I think that Jaguar Wright likes it too. And again, I don't want people to feel like I'm being malicious stating that I do not believe her story, because I am a victim of SA myself, and I would never want someone to say that about me, but I also wouldn't care because I know that my story is true. Again, if Allie's sisters was in school, why wasn't she? Why was she with the babysitter, but her siblings were at school and she is allegedly the oldest out of the siblings? That does not make sense. Your sisters are at school, but you're 4 years old, which is old enough to be in school, and you're at some babysitter's house and they're doing all of these crazy malicious things to you, and then you see your sisters and you pretty much say nothing to them about it. You just hold it in, but the memory is so vivid. I just don't understand that. Why is the memory vivid for her, but not vivid for her sisters? If they were old enough to go to school, then they should be old enough to remember too. I mean, she was, but I'm supposed to overlook that because she stated trauma. It does not mean that she is being honest. It does not mean that at all whatsoever. There are plenty of people in this world that tell the truth about SA, but there's also people that lie. For this video, we will talk about Allie and her mother, Shelly, her adoptive mother, coming forward trying to explain the timeline of the CPS when Allie was first taken and when Allie was first adopted by Shelly, etc. I'm confused in why Allie and Shelly don't know the exact dates when you adopt someone. Any paperwork that you sign is going to be dated. So all she'd have to do was go back to the paperwork. If Allie's so important to her, because she makes it seem as if Allie's so important, which I'm confused by that as well, because Shelly has brought other people into her home. She's looked after other people, and she's only in this van with Allie. She's not in this van with anybody else that has been affected or anything else like that in that nature. If it was happening to Allie, why would it not have been happening to the other people that was allegedly staying with Shelly at the time? But for some reason, Allie is so important. Then if her importance is as high as Shelly is making it, why don't you have this paperwork somewhere that you can always find? This paperwork needs to be at your disposal at any moment, because everything is so sketchy and people are so skeptical of the time frames and whatnot, because when you do lie, you have to keep up with it. If they're telling the truth, then they wouldn't have to do all of this, because they could just refer people to other lives and other times that they spoke on this, whether it was in interviews, etc. But no, they feel a need to come and defend themselves because there is information that is coming from the other side that I believe is true. So since it is, they have to debunk it in a way to make them look like Shelly's the hero and Rhonda's the zero. Let's jump right into these clips.
I don't have the exact dates, but around 2011, CPS placed her with me. They told her, I kept petitioning them, please let me take her. She's missing from your care. Let me take her. If you can find her, I will take her. They finally, in 2011, said, all right, if she comes in, she can go with you. I think she was 17 about that time. Mm-hmm. So she came in and they let her be placed with me.
Pause, mama. So let me just reiterate one more time. 2009 to 2010, I was in elite trafficking. In 2010, I was sold to Russia and I ran. I was on my own in 2010 until 2011. I left Child Protective Services custody for a year. I went missing. Are we all together? This is an interactive portion. Can you give me a little? You got me over here? Are y'all good? Seriously, is everybody good? We good? Are y'all still with us? Right here? Yeah? I see a little. Okay. Cool. Yeah? 2010, I was in the missing child system for Riverside, California. Riverside County Child Protective Services. No one looked for me. No one was throwing a tantrum. No, the only person that gave a damn, and we have the reports, we have the voicemails, we have the transcript of the voicemails between a fake ass mom and a real mom. This one right here. Okay? When the fake mother called in, it was I don't give a shit. When she called in, we have the transcript of her telling them, hello, what are y'all doing? She was being trafficked. Why aren't you guys looking? Took us out of the, they took us. Us. Not us. Us. You with me? I'm so serious. I'm so serious. I'm trying to help people understand. For real. They took me out of the missing children system because of who I was, what my ties were, what you're seeing, the evil that you're seeing right now. They went ahead and just snatched me out of the system. No one threw a fit. No one looked for me. No one cared. The only person that was trying their best to still say, hey, where the hell are you? Was this one. Right here. Right here. My mom.
Side note, Allie states that in 2010, she was sold to elite trafficking in Russia and went to Russia, was sent there because that's who allegedly purchased her. And then she escaped, she ran. And then around 2011, from the rest of 2010 to 2011, she was basically on her own and outside of CPS's care. Now, I'm going to have to call bull again on Allie. Again, I'm unbiased, so I'm not going to be biased because people want her to be telling the truth. She either is or she isn't. And from what I'm gathering right here, she's not telling the truth. In the affidavit, Allie states where she was in 2010. But during this live, she states that she was on her own and also in Russia. So how can you do all of these things at the same time again? So let's pop Allie. Again, she said that from 2010, she was in Russia because she was sold to elite trafficking and Russia purchased her and she escaped. Let's get into Allie's affidavit. Allie says in the affidavit about the Playboy Mansion party that she was in foster care, and this happened in around 2009 to 2010. This is where she was. She says that she was in America. How could you have been in America, Allie, when you said that you were in Russia? How can you be in two places at once? Again, in the affidavit, there is no date. So a person can't say, oh, well, Sean, at the beginning of the year, she was in Russia and then she came back, blah, blah, blah. That's when the affidavit happened because of the party. And all. No. There is no specific date. It says 2009, 2010. So there's no recollection of the month, the day, the season, none of that. She also states she was in foster care. No, she was not. She stated in the video, on the live that we were just watching, that she was on the run before she was sold to elite trafficking in 2010 and sent to Russia. Let's add insult to injury. She said she was here in 2010, although she also said she was in Russia, and that the Playboy Mansion party with Birdman, Diddy, Denzel Washington, Young Jock, all of that happened in 2010. Let's get into Young Jock.
And he'll tell the woman no, and they pull up a whole thing. They're like, well, they have your name here on the affidavit with some young lady named Allie Carter. It was crazy part. I only saw the little affidavit paper say me, Denzel Washington, Diddy, Birdman, right? Here's the thing. But I ain't never even been to the Playboy Mansion where she said this happened at, right? So then a close friend of mine sent me the real rundown of what was said in this thing.
It's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not worried about it because guess what? I can say, hey,
go
man,
back to that.
But you could go run DNA tests. You can run cameras back.
Okay.
You can polygraph me. Ain't none of that shit coming back to me. That's because like I said, I got big deals on the table. This woman pushing this stuff out, and people coming on my wife might post something like, yeah, but your husband was messing with little kids, sexual assault. Baby, I ain't.
And there it is. Young Jock comes forward and states not only has he never been to the Playboy Mansion, he's never been to a party at the Playboy Mansion. I absolutely wholeheartedly believe Young Jock, and not because he's a celebrity. I believe him because what reason would he have to lie? Because he doesn't even have to acknowledge something like this at all. Allie Carter is not famous and she's also not viral. So there would be no reason for him to speak on something like that unless he wanted to debunk it. He also stated that he would give DNA, he would take a lie detector test, he would do what is ever needed to make sure people know that he is not capable of the things that Allie wrote down in that affidavit. Damage control is what it is. When somebody is putting damage on you, you have to control it. Otherwise, it'll get chaotic and it'll get out of control when you have nothing to do with what they're talking about. Allie was also in Russia at the time, so I have every reason to believe Young Jock. Another reason I have to believe Young Jock is because Allie never turned in the affidavit. The affidavit became viral on Twitter. There is no police department that has this affidavit because it is unprofessional and it is also not finished. There are no specific dates, no specific times. There's no specific locations that can be proven so that they can actually do an investigation on this matter at all. It is all hearsay. That is why she never turned the affidavit in, because Allie Carter is simply not telling the truth. she said that young Jock was at this party, but she can't even get the date or year right. She doesn't know if it happened in 2009. She don't know if it happened in 2010. And she also don't know where she was because she can't specifically state a month, nor day, nor season, at least be able to say, oh, it happened in winter or it happened in the summer of 2010. No, she doesn't have any of that information because it's not true. That simple. Why is it okay for Allie Carter to throw this man, young Jock, under the bus when he's facing enough stuff as it is? He has brand deals and stuff on the table. And of course, they look online for the whole Me Too movement and things like that. And to see that he is being part of an affidavit where he was allegedly doing things with underage people is not a good look. He can lose branding deals, etc. Is that fair? All because she wants to push a narrative that she was abused by people that she's never met. I digress. Let's keep going.
Are you still with us? Yeah? In 2011, I was by myself, homeless, eating out of trash cans, sleeping in playgrounds, doing what I needed to do, and other people were helping. Now, at this time, I can't tell you who that was, of course, because I needed to do what I needed to do to stay alive. Right? So in 2011, I called CPS back and said, hey, I can't do this anymore. So I need to come back and we need to figure some shit out. You with me? Okay. Then I went with my mom. You got that on the paper? Write that down. Right, you need that. Write that down. You really need that. I'm serious. All this is connecting. We're helping you. Okay? Write it down. Now, let's continue. Carry on, Mom. Carry on.
So in 2011, she was placed with me. She was about 17. She had to go into high school.
Flag on the play. Wait. I'm sorry. In 2000.
Side note, Allie and her mom, Shelly, make it seem as if CPS is of the devil, that CPS, they're evil, blase, etc., etc. Then why were they so dependent on people that they felt were bad? I don't understand that. They kept calling on CPS and asking them for help and requesting that they do this and do that. Sometimes CPS would give Allie to Shelly. Sometimes they would have to remove her, blah, blah, blah. I am, again, confused by that. I'm also confused by Allie saying that she contacted CPS and told CPS that she couldn't do it anymore and that she basically wanted to go back into the system, blah, blah, blah. Were you a runaway? Allie, how can you call CPS and request CPS do anything for you when you are a runaway? So that means that the police were looking for you. You would have to go through the police and the police would hook CPS up with you, not the other way around. You're underage, you're a runaway, and you decide that, you know what, I don't want to be out here anymore. So let me call CPS and just have them place me again as a runaway. That is a crime. So you would have to contact the police before contacting CPS. Now, if you have a social worker's number or a CPS worker's number and you contacted them, cool. But you would have needed to meet them at the police department where you were reported missing. Again, it's with the lies. And then you have to keep stopping and adding things in. She'll stop her mom and be like, oh, well, no, flag on the play because this actually happened. I was there too before I got back to you. No, the flag on the play should be you talking about being affect. Because weren't you being affect throughout this time? Why do you keep bringing up other stuff like going to school, etc., but not bringing up what was allegedly happening to you from a young age, like you were saying on these interviews that, you know, at 3 months old, things were happening to you at 4 years old. You were sent here, you were sent there, you were sold, you were bought, then you were this, then you were that. It sounds like you had way more power, Allie, than what you are leading on to. So let's keep going.
You had to go into high school.
Flag on the play. Wait. I'm sorry. In 2011, they put me back in a group home in Jurupa Valley, California.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, hold on. Flag on the play because we got to tell that one. That's Mr. Misunderstood. Hi. I know you're watching. Hello. Yes, hello. That was Mr. Misunderstood and his whole entire family. I met him, the son, in high school. I went to Nuevo Vista High School.
Well, the son was too old to be at the school, but he would hang around the school scouting for kids.
Super senior. If anybody remembers super seniors, they're grown adult men that still go to the high school that they failed to get it together in. Okay, so scouting. He was there. I met him. You know, needed someone to talk to. Just came back. Needed someone to care. And I started talking to him. He took me home to hang out. I met his mom and his dad. And his sister Emily was dead at the time. His mom, I'm going to tell you exactly what happened, okay? Let's be real here. Let's be adults. Can we be adults? Y'all ready for adult conversations? If I have kids on here, I love you dearly. I know there's my dance kids are sitting here. I know you're sitting here. But if you are not 18 years old, I need you to walk away from this part of the conversation. Do you hear me? I love y'all. I know you're sitting here. So if you are sitting here, I need you to earmuffs for this part of the conversation because this is the adult part. Can we move them, please? Okay, cool. As an adult, let's talk. All right? I was a child. I was 17. But as an adult, we went to his house. Not to just have a tea party, to Netflix and chill. Yeah? Okay? We were in the shower and he had OCD. We were both in the shower together. Okay? There was soap on my feet and he lost his shit. Because in the middle of us in the shower together, there was soap on my feet. He got up and left me at his house. It was just like, I need you to get that soap off your feet. I need to go. Okay? I stayed in his room, high as hell, and waited for him to come back home. His mom came in the room, and I woke up to her face between my legs. I flipped the hell out. I pushed her off. I started saying, I need to go. I didn't know you were here. This is
in with the vivid imagination to trigger people about things that probably did not happen. I understand some people just have bad luck. I understand some people just go through bizarre things. It's just like their experience in life is just so bizarre that it's like a movie. If you say it out loud, people won't believe you. But when it comes to Allie, I think she is literally that person. I think that her stories are so bizarre and extravagant that they are hard to believe because they are not real. Why does this happen to her no matter where she goes? Her whole life has been people just trying to take advantage of her sexually and on and so forth. Take accountability. You were a 17-year-old girl in a school that you said was with a super senior, which 9 times out of 10, he was either 18 or 19 years old, because some people graduate at 16 or 17, and then some graduate at 18 or 19. So that would be the title of a super senior. A 19-year-old dating a 17-year-old, although some people may frown upon it, it's not a big deal. They're going to be turning 18. Both of them are basically over the age of consent. In most states, it's 16. So him dating her and them being at the same school, dating actually makes sense. There's plenty of seniors that date sophomores or juniors and things like that. But she wants to push a narrative. So she wants you to think that, you know, this man was a weirdo and that he did all of these weird things to her, but you were complicit. You were in the shower with him. He didn't force you to get in there. None of that stuff. So why even say that story? Oh, he has OCD. Were your feet that dirty that he was disgusted by looking down at the soap on top of mud? Because why is this significant to you talking about the timeline of CPS and you being adopted? What does this have to do with anything? And then she says, once again, oh, I woke up and his mom's head was between my legs. Like, what? How does that happen? With most people, if you are going to do something to someone, it's usually a lead up. It's not your son brings somebody home and then they're in their room and then you go upstairs and just help yourself, type of situation. Like it blows my mind how people can't see through that she is not telling the truth when she is telling these stories. She's just obsessed with trauma because these things did not happen. And if they did, she was completely complicit. She wanted these things to happen. Keep listening.
Hey, not the way you want to meet somebody's mom. And I was like, I gotta go. I'm so sorry. Like, I gotta go. And she cried. When I went and talked to him, Isaiah, hi Isaiah. When I went to talk to him about what happened with his mom, he said, don't freak out. She just lost my sister, Emily. Don't freak out. She's having a hard time right now. She just lost my sister. He told me, come back over my house. My mom and my dad will be getting off of work. He's a pediatrician in Norco, California. When my dad gets off work, he wants to meet you, and we're all going to have dinner. Okay? I go back to the house, and now we're playing house at this point, because his whole family is telling me you're in a group home. You can come here. Everybody acted like everything was normal. It's fine.
So after she ran away and was missing for a year, CPS said, come back in. We're going to put you in a group home until we clear Shelly's house, until we get her fingerprints.
Background check.
Do the background check. So it'll be a couple months maybe. So that's what happened. So that was in the beginning, and I was working on the process of getting fingerprinted, getting the house inspected, all of that.
So if I would have told my social worker, instead of going back over and trying to quiet the situation myself as a 17-year-old child, I went back to his house. We had dinner, and I talked to his family about what was going on. I could not call my social worker because I just came from a year AWOL. So I would have been in trouble. I was on a probation period. When I came back, I had to work my program. And the program they put you on in the group home, I was in a high-level group home, almost a lockdown group home, but they put me back. I think it was a level 10 in Harufa Valley. Level 14 is locked down. Level 11 is kind of locked down, but level 10 is kind of You just got to follow the rules. Don't get in trouble. Don't fight. Don't ditch. Don't do bad things. You know? So I had to follow my program. So if I would have came to them and said, hey, my boyfriend's mother put her face between my legs and I pushed her, I would have been in trouble.
That would have been more paperwork.
Yes.
That would have been moving a placement. And they were already mad about that.
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah, a lot. So, sorry, it's getting hot. It's getting a little warm. Are you warm? I'm warm. So I didn't tell them. I tried to handle the situation myself because it would have messed up me going home to my mom. Yes? Are you with me? Are y'all still with me? Interactive portion. The comments are on right here. So are y'all with me? Yes? We're clear? Okay, cool. So I didn't go and tell my social worker anything. I tried to go handle the situation myself. They
didn't tell me either.
Worse.
Until later.
Yeah. I didn't tell my mom. I didn't tell anybody.
I would have raised holy hell.
Yeah, and I knew she would have. She would have called the police the way she did on my pimp when I was 15. So I didn't say shit. I was just like, it's fine. Mom, I have a boyfriend, and his family lets me come over and hang out. That was what I told her and everyone else. Okay? Until after, I think, about 4 months, 3 or 4 months with them, and stuff was happening every single day, I became married to Isaiah, and then I became their foster daughter, who they said they were going to adopt, and then they told me we were all getting married, and I became their wife. All of them. His mom too. And his dad. And family time was orgies. Okay? So I didn't tell anybody. I stayed quiet because I didn't want to get in trouble. I had to make sure that my grades were still okay. I had to make sure that I wasn't acting funny because somebody was going to report on that. I had to make sure that when my social worker came, I wasn't getting in trouble. I had to make sure that if he put his hands on me, I covered up everything. I made sure there was no physical bruise.
Side note, so this is a lot to unpack. Let's start here. Allie says that while she was staying with this super senior boyfriend of hers, while she was only 17 in high school, that one day after a shower and her dirty feet, that the boyfriend's mom came into his room while she was asleep in the bed, and she woke up with the woman's head in between her legs, and she pushed her away. She called the boyfriend, told the boyfriend what happened, and he said, cut her a break because we just lost my sister, Emily. Why would the mother need to be cut a break from SA if her daughter died? Hey, cut her a break, let her assault you, or, the next time you're here, just let her do whatever she wants to do to you because she's grieving. Grieving does not mean that you get to go and violate someone because a loved one passed away. That does not make any sense. What also does not make any sense is that after knowing that these people were allegedly weird, the son and the OCD in the shower, the mom trying to basically SA Allie without her consent, or anything like that, why would you go back there? Allie had no reason to go back there because, again, she was in foster care. She met this boy at school after she got back enrolled in school. So that means that all she had to do was stay with the family that she was with and stay out of trouble, and then Shelly would have been able to adopt her. So her saying that I didn't tell anyone because if I did, that would have ruined my chances of being adopted by my mom. No, all you have to do is keep your fast ass at home. That's all you had to do. You didn't have to be with this boyfriend or anything like that, or around his family, marry the whole family, and not all of a sudden y'all was doing orgies and all. You didn't have to do any of that. All of that could have been avoided because she also says that this family was trying to adopt her. Why, Allie? Why would this family be trying to adopt you, you fucking liar, if Shelly was already in the process to adopt you? So you wanted the adoptive family to be your boyfriend and Shelly at the same time, which you wanted everybody to adopt you at 17? Like you're about to turn 18 years old. What is the need of you to have somebody adopt you at the age of being an adult? That doesn't even make any sense. You are lying, and it is pissing me off. Like, I'm not even gonna hold y'all. Like, the lies are so blatant, they are right in your face. She literally says she didn't tell anybody at CPS or tell her mom because her mom would have got mad, Shelly. What would Shelly have been mad about? Would Shelly have been mad because you was over there with this boy and this family? Or would she have been mad because they were trying to adopt you at the same time Shelly was trying to do so? Make it make sense. You were completely complicit if that situation happened. You wanted to do the orgies. You wanted to be around the mom. You wanted to be around the son. You wanted to be around the father. Take accountability for that. But instead, it's woe is me. I'm a victim. I didn't know what I was doing. I was only 17 years old. I was lying to everybody, but I'm not lying now. What? I was trying to control the situation on my own, although I was a 17-year-old kid. A 17-year-old cannot be a kid if an 8-year-old is a kid. Though there are two different things. At 17 years old, you were a teenager about to join adulthood. An 8-year-old is 8 turning 9. That's it. There is no adulthood in the next number, but yours is. But you were still desperate to be adopted, which again, still doesn't make any sense. So do not believe that story because she is not telling the truth.
At 17 years old, going home while everything was in the process, until I found out they killed their daughter. You want to talk about the shed that's in the back of the house? Mr. Misunderstood? No? Okay, cool. So when I found that out, and they used to lock me with the deadbolt in her room that still had all of her stuff in it, all of her Hello Kitty stuff in it. They had a deadbolt on her door. So anytime that I came to the house and I did something that they considered wrong, they would lock me in her room. And then his mom would come upstairs and hurt me. Are we all clear on what hurt means? Yeah? Okay. If we're not, let me help you. I'm smiling because I'm starting to get sweaty because I'm telling you a wound. Okay? We're opening an old scar that I don't really like to open. But here we are. Okay? So she had a sex dungeon, a sex closet that had many all be in the bathtub together until one night they drowned me, and then he had to resuscitate me.
And we'll talk about the bathtub programming in a minute.
Finally, I had enough because after 3 or 4 months, they told me they were going to adopt me. I started telling my group home staff, like, hey, if you see him, I don't want to go with him. I could not go with my mom because we had supervised visits. So at the time, I could not call her. I could not do anything until it was a supervised visit.
So it was usually once a week. Like, they have this whole process that you have to go through. So while the fingerprints were doing their fingerprinting thing and the background check was background checking, I was allowed to have 1 hour a week visits with her. And then that gradually increased
to 2 hours, to 3 hours.
As long as she wasn't getting in trouble, we could still have the visits. So it was a lot.
But then my boyfriend, his mom, his dad, or anybody else could pick me up. I had day passes. If you are familiar with foster care, there's something called a day pass and there's something called a community pass. Okay? The day pass, you can leave for, like they say, 4 hours. Your social worker gives you 4 hours to just go walk around the city, to go do whatever you want. But in that 4 hours, you need to do whatever you're going to do and get back to your group home. A community pass is you can leave for the day, you can get a bus pass from your social worker if you'd like, and you can do whatever the hell you want to do. However, I had to have supervised visits with my mom. I could be in the world doing whatever I wanted to do, dealing with people like this. But if my mom came to the house or called me outside of our ordered supervised visits, then that was wrong. After a point of dealing with, what happened was they made a party. They threw me an engagement / adoption party. I've been proposed to and engaged so many damn times. It's crazy. It's thick. And if you're looking at this ring right now, because I know a lot of you are, it's a purity ring. I've been through so much hell that I haven't had sex in 10 years, 9 or 10 years. Don't want to.
That kind of negates the pregnancy thing, but that's a whole.
Yeah, that's a whole other situation. That's a whole. I was just fat. It's just fat, but I can't get pregnant. Everybody knows that. Was it by someone's boyfriend when I was still in this bio family's home.
To sum up this part of the live, and we will be doing a part 2 of the rest of this live, Allie and her mother, Shelly, tried to clear things up and they cleared up nothing. She states that she was R-worded in a closet by somebody's boyfriend in her biological mom's home. So that's why she can't have children. At this point, who hasn't S8 Allie? Who hasn't? It's like anybody that comes around her, she wants to blame something on them so that she could keep the narrative in her mind that she has of things that did not take place. Young Jock exposed her, and still to this day, Allie has not said anything to Young Jock. She's definitely not going to apologize to him because then that is admittance of guilt and admittance that she lied about her accusations and allegations against Young Jock. So that will make it be a domino effect to where people will believe that she lied about everything and everyone that she has spoke of. I find that mighty weird. They say protect the children, but she says that her ex-boyfriend's little sister Emily was M-worded by her family. Well, why aren't you doing anything to protect Emily, Allie? Why aren't you doing anything to protect Emily, Shelly? Why don't y'all get her justice? Isn't this about the children? Is it not? Or did that change now because your story is being exposed? I love you all. Make sure you are here in the next installment of Surviving TikTok. Allie Carter. Until the next one. Bye.